Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the King of Stones and the Wolf. And when I was thinking about this card today as he's howling out at the moon and relating this to yesterday's card of the Page of Vessels and the Otter, the King comes at a time where you've gotten a message from the Page of Vessels, right? A message of emotion, a message of psychic ability. And this King comes out and he just wants you to let you know that the spirits that are on the other side, all right, are giving those messages out to you, okay, and in the dead of night. So you really have to pay attention to the dreams and the visions that you have on what's going to be coming, to fruition in the future. So, the Page of Vessels is giving you these messages, and he's here just to pretty much emphasize, listen to what's going on. Pay attention, to what's happening. Now, as I like to explain, this king rules the kingdom, okay? He's a great advisor when it comes to materialism and security and stability, but he's also a tracker and a hunter. He loves the land, and he loves the world that he's living in the Wildwood. So you can rely on him to track down, all right, that stability that you're looking for from the message in the Page of Vessels. If this is a person or this is you, it's going to be somebody who's very mature and very pragmatic, all right? They're going to be steadfast, and they're going to offer that security and stability that you're looking for. Kind of, the natural businessman, they can be relied on to keep their promises. And he's letting you know right now that I am going to track down that which makes it unstable, that which makes it unsecure, right? And if I need to go through to the underworld and talk with, the spirits, that's what I'm going to do. Because I'm here to protect you. I'm here to give you that advice as you're moving forward. If this is an aspect that you see in others or within yourself, it's appreciating the good things in life. All right. So, he may mention something to the fact of take a step back, look at what you do have, and be appreciative of what you have. That house, that car. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses because you don't know their situation. All right. Rule number 1. Control what you can control, okay? And as you're doing that, he's reminding you, learn to handle the materialism, the security, the stability that you do have. Because the messages from the afterlife that are coming through, okay, are indicators of how you're going to move forward. And if this is an event that's going to be an estate or land, maybe there's an estate sale that you go to and something just pops out, right? Or there's going to be, an opportunity to pick up some land, right? It's also about health and financial support, all right? So look at your health, all right? And maybe your dreams are talking to you about the health, right? Being dedicated to your workout plan or eating correctly, being swift, looking at things from a different perspective, right? That blasted oak, even though it's knocked you off of the branches and you're bruised and battered, maybe there's some underlying health issues that you need to take care of. Okay, and this wolf is letting you know, now's the time to do it when you have the financial fortitude to do things. So, as you think about this card and look at the questions, he says, what advice gives you the best security? Let me say that again. What advice gives you the best security? If it has to do with your health, all right, maybe the health professional is saying, you know what, get a second opinion, find out, get all your questions answered, and then let's come back and talk. Maybe we can make something happen, right, to stop whatever it is going on. If it has to do with a relationship or anything like that, what advice gives you the best security? Is, that's talking to, the lawyer, right? That's talking to people who have gone through these things before and saying, hey, this is what you can expect. all right? Taking that business-like approach, right, with things and not getting your emotions all banged up. You know, and at the same time, if it's the other side of the coin where you want somebody, you know, somebody new's coming into your life, what advice gives you the best security? Because it takes a while to build up that trust with somebody else, okay? And, you know, there might be some cues, some signs coming in from the dream saying, this is the one or this isn't the one, right? It's how you approach it with your mindset. You know, are you dedicated to a regime in the morning where you clear out negative thoughts and just, you know, this is what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on positive things. I'm going to manifest, right? You know, security and relationship into my life. And then the other question that the wolf asks is, where is life offering you its riches? Again, it goes back to looking at, you know, what you do have, right? Maybe it's great weather. Maybe it's a house. Maybe it's a car. Maybe it's that, you know, when you take a step back and you look at your relationship from a different perspective, and change is hard, you look at it and say, you know what? This relationship has given me a lot of riches, right? Security, stability, right? We do things together. Yeah, there's some bad times, there's some, you know, but there's more good times than bad times. So maybe that's the, you know, not the advice, but, you know, the thought process that makes you think about what's going on. Okay, and there's a lot of arrows down here as well, which is, you know, thinking and communication. You know, this King of Stones, he just looks at you and just says, you know, look, whatever advice I can give you is do what's best for you. Look within. Understand the reason why you feel the way you feel. Understand what Spirit is trying to tell you. Listen intently with your intuition and your heart and make that move. Don't do so quickly. Look at everything that's out there, right? Almost, you know, with that Knight of Arrows, still down here twice. Strong, you know, what do you need to stand up for? If you need to stand up for yourself, okay, what advice gives you the best security for doing that? Okay, standing up for myself is just, I'm going to speak my truth, right? I'm going to, you know, not get into arguments, all right, and, you know, sarcasm and gossip with people. And at the same time, when I'm looking at, you know, what's life offered me in my riches, it's, you know what? I've stood up for myself and everything's been great. I'm standing up for this relationship. I'm standing up for this job. I'm standing up for, you know, all the things that are making me stable and secure in life. And then the other question that Hawk asks is, what might you be, you know, wrongly informed? Being wrongly informed and looking at it from a different perspective gives you that wisdom and that knowledge to move forward. But at the same time, you know, where do you need, you know, to wear your emotions? Do you need to keep them in, or do you need to let them out? Right? How is it that you want to, you know, want that to happen when you're talking to that advisor? All right? What deeper trust is being asked of you when you look for that advisor, that king, you know, hey, this King of Wolves, you know, the King of Stones, this wolf came out, and you're looking at him and say, you know what? How do I not trust you? You're the King of Stones. And he's like, yeah, I know, but you're going to have to. I can give you the advice to make, you know, help you move forward, to keep that, you know, to build on its security and stability, but you have to trust me. And that Page of Vessels says, I trust you. I trust you with my whole heart. And that's what it is. So that's today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the King of Stones and the Wolf. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. And this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.